Hello. We are going to be talking today about your story. And I hear this all the time. TikTok's here. So if I kind of look over here, I'm on TikTok too. I hear this all the time from teachers, teacherpreneurs. And it's that my story is like really mundane. My story is not super cool, not super interesting. So when I share this story, I don't feel like anyone is going to be interested in this story. Okay. And I want to like back up a little bit. Why is sharing your story important online? Okay. Now we're talking about the contents that you're building your business, right? You're building a 6-figure or more online coaching business, correct? So let me know in the chat if that's you. If you're like me, this is me this year. Like I'm in TikTok. Let me know. YouTube. Let me know. You're building a 6-figure business, right? So if that is the case, you guys, you need to be sharing your story because your story shows someone how you are like the authority in becoming what they want to be. Like you are at the place that they want to be. They want to know that you've been there before so that they can trust you more. So if you haven't been there before, like if you haven't done the things that they want to do, then in that case, sharing your story obviously is not going to help you to connect with these clients on a level that they need to be connected with. But if you have been in the place that they need to be, this is why sharing your story is like the ultimate type of content that is going to allow you to, number one, get in front of your dream clients, and number two, to convert them into paying clients because it builds trust. Okay. So back to like, why should I share my story if it's not like cool enough? Like, I'm afraid that if I share my story, it's not cool enough. Like, it's normal. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Um, I want to like have help you with this mindset shift, you guys, because it's actually a good thing that your story is not cool. It's actually a good thing that your story is like mundane because mundane is relatable. Like when I post on Instagram stories, when I post like my coffee, like I'm getting a coffee drink, or maybe I'm like having a day that it's like really busy and I'm stressed and I'm like talking about that. This is relatable. Think about who you follow online. Think about like the coaches you follow, the business owners you follow who are like on Instagram stories. Think about, one second here, I have to decline this. TikTok, my goodness. Think about like the people that you relate to most. They're probably people that have some commonalities with you. Yes, do they inspire you? Yes, is their story incredible? Great. But they are actually more interested in the fact that they have like commonalities with you and you are at the place that they want to be, but they're still like similar to you. Like that's me. So mundane is relatable, right? So I want to give you an example. One of my previous clients was a stay-at-home mom, and she shares like her own tips and all this stuff, and she coaches other moms on how to get back more, valuable, quality, meaningful time with her kids during the day. And her story is not that crazy. Okay. She quit the classroom to stay at home with her kids. It's not that crazy, right? And now she has more meaningful time with them. But I'm telling you guys, her TikTok and Instagram is blowing up. It's blowing up because her story is relatable. There's other moms out there that can connect with her on the same level because they were in the position that she used to be. Their day looks very similar to her day. And that is allowing her to get like connect with these moms, to get DMs from these moms, to get interest in her coaching because she's sharing her story. It's relatable. So the next time that you go to share your story, instead of thinking it's not cool enough, I want you to think about the fact that you're connecting with someone who is going through the same thing. is going through the exact same thing. I have another client who's like in the fearless mastermind who her story is not that crazy. Okay? She had like some slight classroom management issues, as all teachers do. Amen. As all teachers do. She had slight classroom management issues like her first few years of teaching. She was able to overcome those by creating like more social emotional learning activities in her classroom and by connecting with her students on like a feelings based emotional level, right? This is a normal relatable story. This is not anything crazy. She did not I'm unaware of this, but I don't think she got like hit. I don't think she got cussed at. I don't think these things happened to her. Like her story is fairly mundane. But sharing her story is something that I was like advising her to do in our last coaching call. So like I was like, share your story, because she was like, she's not sharing her story because she thought that what's the difference? What's the difference? It's not that cool. And once she shared her story, you guys, on one reel, she got 20 people commenting and saying that they're interested in her membership. Guys, her story is super mundane. So the next time that you go to share your story, it's more about the people on the other side of the screen. Can they relate to you? Now, let's say that you do have a crazy story, like you're a single mom and you started teaching on Outschool and you went full time and now you're at six figures and like your story is crazy. There are people out there that are going to relate to you too. Because as much as you think, wow, this story is crazy, is anyone going to relate? Like, has anyone ever been through this type of situation? You'd be so freaking surprised that there's so many people that do, that like have gone through the same exact situation as you, like moving countries, building a six-figure business. Like, share your dang story. Put it in the chat if you're going to share your story. Put it in the chat. Say me or in or something like that. I want you to share your story. So literally, you guys, I am not even joking. Your story and sharing your story has the like power to get to your first 5K months online. I'm not even joking you. That is like 90% of the content that I used to put out there when I was trying to reach my first 5K months online. When I was trying to sell out my first few coaching packages, I shared my dang story. Share your story. Sorry, I was like telling TikTok. So if you're like, what the heck? Like, what story do I share? Like, what are you talking about? I'm going to clear that up. Yes? Okay. Let me know though, if this is a question that you have, like you don't know what story to share. Let me know in the chat if you're like, I don't know what story to share. Put a me in the chat if you don't. So I'm going to put it from a couple different angles, because I myself work with like teacherpreneurs and clients that have different people they're selling to. So like they might be selling to students. They might be selling to parents. They might be selling to like other people, other teachers, other moms, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to put it in different angles so that you can utilize this. So number one, if you are a coach, or if you support other people in doing what you've been able to do, and you support people that are a past version of yourself. So let's say you're an online teacher on Outschool and you help other Outschool teachers go full-time on Outschool or like sell out their classes. If this is the case, you are sharing your story in context that relates to them. So the past version of yourself, when you were not booking out your classes, when your students were unenrolling, when you would only have 1 to 2 students per class, the one. This is what you're sharing and how you overcame those obstacles. So, hey, 3 years ago, I started teaching on Outschool and I was struggling to sign on students into my classes. When I, would open my Outschool app every single week, I would see there's only 1 to 2 students enrolled in my classes and in my semester-long courses. And I had no idea what to do in order to stand out and in order to sign on more students and fully book out my classes. So that's the beginning part of the story. Then in the middle, you're going to talk about the transformation. You're going to talk about the challenges that you've overcome to be able to get fully booked out. So you go, so what I did was I joined a membership, which was teaching me how to sell out these classes and market them more. I started to really dive into my lessons. What lessons were like exciting to students so that when the students did come to class, they were like so like excited that they wanted to keep coming back. So I was retaining my students. And then because I was retaining my students, my classes were never empty. And then what was happening is there was a lot of parents that would leave amazing reviews. And these reviews pushed my classes out to the public. So to stand them out more to the top of the list when someone was searching for my classes. So this is how I've been able to fully book out my classes. See? And then you go to the after. Now my classes, I wake up to fully booked classes every single day, students joining every single day. And my students have like some of my students, 50% of my students have been my students for the last year or 2 years. And this is all because I really dove deep into creating better, more engaging lessons that really excited the students and kept them coming back for more. So this is an example of one of my clients in the Fearless Mastermind and her story. Okay, so if your client is a past version of yourself, share your own story. Okay. Now, second angle, if your client is not a past version of yourself, but it's someone you've helped. So it's like a student. If you support students, if your client is a student, but you've helped a student that's the same past version of them overcome obstacles, then you are going to be sharing your student stories, you guys. So let's say that you're a tutor and you want more tutoring clients. You are going to be sharing your students' stories of how you helped them, or the teachers or the mentors in your own company helped them to overcome the obstacles. Okay? So this student came to me and they literally were like, I was like pulling teeth to get them to finish their homework. Okay. So they would go to class, they would like go like this, they wouldn't raise their hand, they wouldn't participate at all in class. And their parents, all the parents wanted for them was to enjoy their schoolwork and to not have to like tell them to do their homework all the time. They wanted their student to take responsibility, they wanted their child to take responsibility for their schoolwork. So when they came to us, they were there. They were at that place. We worked together and we included these techniques that were about getting down with, or getting more clarity with these. Our mentors work to get more clarity with these students and to see what really sparked interest in them through these social emotional learning techniques and these communication activities. Okay. So guys, I'm kind of just like riffing it right now because like obviously I'm not the expert in this specific one, but like you can see that I'm talking now about what they did together in mentorship, in tutoring, right? Then you're going to talk about how you overcome those. Then you're going to talk about where the student is now. So now you're talking, you're saying, now the parents are super happy because their child is coming back from class and they're actually excited to talk about like math class and the fact that they raised their hand and they participated in class and they also got an A in their last math test. So they're super excited. They actually enjoy doing their homework and they look forward to tutoring time with their tutor. So see how this is a different story, but it's like still the same format. Right? Yes, yes. Okay. So now it's your turn, you guys. So TikTok, I'm still here with you, TikTok. I'm just on a YouTube live as well. So YouTubers, TikTokers, what I want you to do is if you need help with your story, I want you to put it in the chat below. I want you to put it in the chat below. I want you to put just the gist of your transformation. So, from like sped teacher to like online business owner or whatever your like transformation is, I want you to put it in the chat below. If you have any questions about your story, let me know your questions in the chat below. TikTok too. Um, and the other thing that I want to say here is yes, you can share your story like in different ways. And the more that you share your story, the more comfortable and confident you're going to be with sort of like picking and choosing different pieces of the puzzle. So choosing different pieces of the story. Like I'll share my story from like a classroom teacher's perspective, but then if I specifically want to call out online teachers, I'll talk more about my story from that place. And if I'm specifically talking to someone who like I want, like for instance, in the Fearless Mastermind, whenever I'm putting out content for someone who might be of interest to the Fearless Mastermind, and might be like a dream client, I will literally start from the place where I was struggling to sign on clients. I was struggling to build my coaching business because that's where they are right now. Right. So it really depends on the different like personas in your audience on where you start the story and what angle you're going to tell it from. So the more that you share your story, the like more confident and more easily it will come, and it will just happen really naturally, right? So like even today on TikTok, and TikTokers, you can see this, is I shared my story from like a green screen, from a green background, and I had like pictures in the background, and I was sharing the story from when I went from the classroom to online teaching to now. And I do want you guys to share that type of story, like your entire transformation. And I call this your origin story, the OG story. It's called the OG story. But I also want you to share like little stories that like even like little bits of your origin story during the week. So you don't always have to go back to sharing the entire origin story, but you can like share the little bits. Like for instance, when I am, talking about when I'm selling an offer like my IG story call, which by the way, if you need help with your IG stories, um, oh, Caddy, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. Good question. If you guys need help with your IG stories, if you don't know how to sell on IG stories in order to sell out your high ticket offers like coaching programs, group coaching programs, masterminds, high close proximity courses, send me a DM on Instagram, because right now I have a 60-minute call where I'm going to help you come up with 4 different sales flows to sell out your offer on Instagram stories. So if you're struggling, like you don't know what to write, or how to sell on your Instagram stories every single day, I'm going to help you clear that up so you have like full confidence in knowing how you're going to sell your program out on Instagram stories. So DM me on Instagram if you need help with Instagram stories, okay? But for instance, because I am offering that right now, you guys need to see how I utilize Instagram stories and what my transformation was with Instagram stories in order for you guys to understand and trust that I have the experience to help you with selling on Instagram stories. So I don't go back to the classroom. I share a story where it's directly related to when I started using Instagram stories. So in October of last year, you guys, I was not using Instagram stories at all. And I started using it consistently and selling on it every single day. And I got better at selling. And I realized I needed to sell from different angles. And I jumped into my own mentorship to help me with selling on Instagram stories. And through this, I now was able to scale to 6 figures in my coaching business. And 95% of my clients are signed on Instagram, from my stories to my DMs to my programs. So that is my Instagram story that I share when I'm selling a particular offer. So depending on your offers, you guys, you need to share the offer story around what you're selling so that they understand your expertise for selling that specific offer. So you are going to like switch your story up and not always share the same thing. But one thing that you can do right now to just generally in your business make way more sales is share your origin story. So Katie had a question. Katie had a question. Katie, do you ask students permission to share their story? No, what I do is I say, like, for instance, if you're specifically like tutoring or trying to get more students, you would say student N. Like you can say the letter of their name. Um, if you're not comfortable saying their full name, you can say student N. I don't even like share names. Like when I'm sharing on TikTok, I just go, my client, who's a mom of 5, had a $9,000 cash month. True story, you guys. From just posting on her Instagram stories more. True story. You can check out my Instagram for that entire story or my TikTok. So, you don't have to say their names. And if you do want to share just a little bit, like you can share, some more characteristics about them. Like does the student, have problems with, not being attentive in class. Like share the characteristics, but don't actually share, their names. Hopefully that helps. And let me know too, TikTok, if you have any questions. So I'm going to give you right now and feel free to ask me questions. We're about like 5 minutes to the end. So let me know if you have any questions, TikTok or Instagram, because I can answer those right here. I'm going to give you a couple prompts to use. So I'm going to pull up my hands-on hooks guide. So one second here. I'm going to give you some like prompts to use when you have a carousel post or are posting a TikTok video that's sharing your story. Okay? Okay, so anyone who joins the Limitless membership immediately gets access to this document. So I'm going to share a little bit of the document with you so you can see. So the Limitless membership is my monthly, where I put monthly trainings out. We're also having a coaching call for teachers who need help to sell their offers online, to sign on clients every single week and students into your tutoring business, into your coaching business, whatever business you have. I teach you exactly what to post on Instagram, exactly how to sell in the DMs on your Instagram stories. This month's training was like a full breakdown of how I sell on Instagram stories. And you'll also learn how I post and sell on TikTok as well. So I'm teaching you all of that. And I give you like really helpful resources like this hands-on hooks guide. So let me just share this. One second here. How do I share this? Present. Okay, share screen. Got it. Okay, it's right here. So you guys, this is my hands-on hooks guide. So basically these are these like content prompts for you to share for the 5 different content types to post in your business to sign on clients weekly. So a couple prompts that I want you to use are how I went from X to Y, right? How I went from X to Y. How I went from, or how my student, if you teach a student, so how my student went from X to Y, right? So how I went from, burnt out, drained classroom teacher working 40 plus hours a week to full-time tutoring, online tutor who owns my own business and hires out my own mentors. Right? So this is an example of your story. Or you could say how my student went from dreading their classes and getting D's or F's and failing class to being super excited, participating in class, raising their hand, getting called on, and excited to complete their homework and getting B's in their class. Right? So then you would go into the story. Again, going into how you guys overcame the challenges together and where you are now. And then another one that you can use is um, here's how I did X without doing Y. So this is just a different like angle to share your story from. So here's how I did X without doing Y. Here's how I spend quality time with my babies during the day and I'm able to spend, um without putting them on screen time. Or here's how I'm able to complete my household chores as a stay-at-home mom without putting my kids on screen time for 2 hours or more, right? So this just shows you like this can overcome some of the like objections that people might have. Like they're like, can I really like be proactive as a stay-at-home mom if I have to complete the chores or do I have to just stick them on screen time, right? So that's a couple examples. And then as far as client storytelling goes, you could say, here's how my client or student went from X to Y. Um, and you can do 3 shifts that help my client go from X to Y. So in my case, 3 shifts that help my teacherpreneur client go from making $100 a month and struggling to sign on high ticket clients to making over $1,000 per month in less than 12 weeks. So these are a type of just different stories. And if you guys want this entire guide, let me know. You can DM me on Instagram because once you sign up to the Limitless membership, which by the way, you are going to get a 7-day free trial in October if you sign up to the Limitless membership. So you could literally get this for free. So if you sign up to the Limitless membership, you will immediately get access to this document. I'm not going to show you everything, but I'm going to scroll down this, guys. You will get all of the different types of content and all of these hands-on hooks that you can literally use every single day over and over and over. It's going to help you with planning out your content and cutting down that content planning time. Okay. Yay! Yay, you guys. Any questions here from TikTok? Any more questions, YouTube? That was a really good one, Katie. You're awesome. You are awesome. It has been an amazing day. I'm super excited. So, anyways, back to the main point, you guys. If you are thinking, I don't have a cool enough story to share online, share it. Share it anyway because it's relatable. People relate with you if you are mundane. People are relating to you because they're similar to you and they have commonalities with you. So you don't have to have a cool story. And also, you don't have to be like 100 steps ahead of someone to sell them an offer. If you are 10 steps ahead of someone, you probably heard this before. If you are 10 steps ahead of someone, you can sell that offer easily because you've literally just been there. Case in point, one of my Fearless Mastermind clients that just signed up a couple of weeks ago to the Fearless Mastermind, she was like, literally, she's like 10 steps behind me. Exactly in January, not even a year ago, I was in her shoes. I was making $1,000 a month. I didn't have a group coaching program. I wasn't at 6 figures yet. But she signed up to the mastermind because she literally relates so much to this story. And she knows that I'm not 100 steps ahead. She knows I'm not a millionaire. That doesn't matter to her. She wants to learn how to get to where I've been in the quickest time possible. And that's why she signed up to the Fearless Mastermind because she doesn't care that I'm not 1,000 steps ahead of her. She cares that I understand her and I understand how she can take steps to get to where she wants to be, which is make 6 figures this year, right? You don't have to be 100, 200, 300, 1,000 steps ahead of people to give them deep transformations. In fact, sometimes, you guys, it's better if you're closer. It's better sometimes if your mentor is closer to you than farther away because they're going to understand where you are at more clearly. They're going to be able to support you in a deeper way than someone who's 1,000 steps ahead of you and making multi-millions. So I hope that that like gives you some inspiration to share your own story. And if that's something you want to do, because I talked about my client who joined the mastermind, if this is something you want to do, there's one spot left in the Fearless Mastermind. So, what we're doing in the Fearless Mastermind is we are scaling our businesses, building the foundations to scale our businesses to 6 figures. So, I'm teaching you how to do that in the next 6 months. And there's with so much support customized to your own business. So, we have teacherpreneurs that, are current coaches. We have teacherpreneurs that run their own 6 figure online schools. We have teacherpreneurs that sell digital lessons and resources online and are selling more of those online and want to scale that to 6 figures. We have teachers that own tutoring companies, so they want to get more students. So we have a really good mix of different teacherpreneurs that you can see their business approach and you can see how they're overcoming their challenges in their business, as well as get that one-to-one support from me to scale to 6 figures and really get your content, your sales messaging, tweaks in your messaging, and really create that content that converts and sell on your Instagram stories, etc. So if you are like, this is the year I want to go to 6 figures, I know that I need like a mentor. I know that I need to be in a room where other people are doing the same thing for me to hold myself accountable, as well as for me to really gain the understanding of what it actually takes to get to 6 figures this year. DM me on Instagram. There's only one seat left, you guys. And I've gotten a lot of DMs about coaching and this program. So I would act quickly if you want to get in now. Good question here. How do you decide if your content is a course or coaching, or if your offer is a coach or coaching? How did you decide if your offer is a course or coaching? Okay, so there's definitely like, you know, coaches that have a full course in their coaching program. Like I do. I have, when you join the Fearless Mastermind or when you're one of my private clients, you will have immediate access to my previous course, which is Teacher Transformed, which is actually my previous coaching program, but it has all of the trainings for a course. But I called it a coaching program. And the reason I called it a coaching program is because we had weekly calls. We had weekly calls. So in that case, I was giving a lot of support. I was coaching them, mentoring them for the 3 months of the program. So in the case that, but I've also seen courses that have like an add-on of a monthly call or a weekly call or a bi-weekly call or something like that, where they call it course. And to be completely honest with you, Patty, like, I don't think it matters that much what you call it. It matters more how you're marketing it. Because I'm a firm believer, because I've sold so many offers. I've sold courses that I've marketed as courses. I've marketed memberships. I've marketed, and sold, masterminds. I've sold group coaching offers. I've sold one-to-one private coaching. I've sold little micro offers, like for instance, my stories micro offer that's 60 minutes to come up with sales flows to sell out your next high ticket coaching offer on Instagram stories. Like I've sold so many things. It's more about, not about the title of it, but how you're marketing it. I believe that you can sell anything as long as you know how to sell, how to message it, how to put the messaging on your IG stories, how to sell in your content. Like you actually selling in your content without actually being scammy and saying sign up, right? You're actually selling in your content with different little things that you're adding to your content. So it doesn't really matter how you market it, as long as you know how to position your messaging in a way that sells the offer, which has a lot to do with how well you understand your dream clients and how well you can activate them to jump in to your programs. Probably like the weirdest answer to that question, but like you guys, it doesn't matter what your programs are titled. The title doesn't matter. offer itself doesn't necessarily matter. It's more about, can you actually like market your offers in a way that gets people activated to buy? That's what really matters. And that's why in my coaching and like in my content and everything, like who I am, like my entire brand, it's like that's why I emphasize sales, because you learning the skill and the art of selling will change your life, because you will be able to come up with offers that don't even make sense why it would sell out. Like, don't even make sense. You will be able to sell offers you're extremely passionate about. Maybe it doesn't make sense that you're selling that, or like maybe, but if you can market it and you can actually learn how to sell it and how to speak to those dream clients that are perfect fit for your program, you're going to sell it out. Doesn't matter if it's like dancing or breathing or whatever it is, you can sell it. So I hope that gives you also like a little bit validation that your offer itself doesn't have to be like, it has to include XYZ and BYA and all these things. Like, you just need to know how to sell it. Yes, yes, Patty, thank you. Good question. Good question. All right, you guys. If you have any questions, if you want to join the membership for the free 7-day trial and get the hands-on hooks guide, if you want to jump into the Fearless Mastermind and be the last teacherpreneur who joins the program, we are like all super excited. I was in the Slack channel today. I was chatting and coaching some clients there. They're super excited about scaling. They're already getting some incredible wins and progress. If you're interested in that, let me know on Instagram. Send me a DM. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. All right, you guys. See you next Monday. Peace.